Hey guys, so it's been a while since our last Florida update, and I had some really big things planned for this video. Tim was over for the holidays, and I really would have loved it if he had came and helped me tell the story about the night in Miami. However, scheduling issues arose, and he had to take off, so I didn't want to put this off any longer. So I want to do a quick video about what we did in Miami and also some updates of what's going on in this channel. At least for me, I know anyone outside of this screen in this room really doesn't matter, but I just want to keep track of the things that are going on in my mind. So my camera didn't really have a lot of footage in Miami. Surprisingly, all of my pictures and my videos stopped the night after trip. I'm going to try my best to give you guys our Miami experience through storytelling. So if you don't mind the next 3 or 4 minutes of me just rambling on about what I think happened in Miami or the recollections that I have in Miami, please feel free to listen up. So the main details that I'd like to capture about Miami, and I can't express this enough, is that Miami is one of the most superficial, shallow places I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to try to beat around the bush for this. You have 3 kind of average looking guys trying to go to the hottest spots in Miami. It's actually not going to work out too well for us because Miami is the place where the ratio is so important in a club. It blew my mind. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised because that's just kind of the type of city Miami is. It's very touristy at some spots, but if you go down the strip and you're just kind of hanging out and getting drinks, that's fine. But if you really wanted to get into those clubs, it becomes kind of a hassle for people like me, and I'm not even trying to be humble, but for people with, you know, average looking features and average confidence in themselves. For example, there is, you know, one of the hottest clubs in Miami, and don't ask me to remember the name, but the experience is here in my head. There is not a line. There is a sectioned off area of whatever, red velvet rope, whatever it was. There is a gentleman, literally, wearing a scarf, sunglasses, and a suit outside, kind of pacing back and forth. Mind you, this is Miami at night. It is like not cold. Basically, you know, as soon as that time of the night rolls in, you've got me, Wayne, and Tim kind of waiting there, and obviously a bunch of more people come, mostly men, but also some women too. And you see some important people, some important looking people coming in and out, and basically we were treated like cattle, and the guy is just kind of pacing back and forth looking at the people who are waiting and is basically hand-picking them to go into the club. And not to say that I or Tim or Wayne aren't good looking on their own, but what I said about the ratio is very real, okay? The guy, I don't even know what to call him. He's such a douchebag. The guy is responsible for allowing more girls into the club than men. Which, whatever, I get. That's just how that type of business is run nowadays. So, as I stated earlier, it literally became impossible for a group of 3 guys like us to be chosen to go in. It was just the most shallow, pathetic thing I've ever had to witness. It was a real shot in like the gut, like, oh, you can't do this here. And obviously we left. There are other clubs to go to. But if that first experience was anything like any of the other experiences, I was just, at that point I was already in like a really bad mood. Now the rest of the night played out similarly. We did end up going to another club. This one did have a line, it was a little bit more organized, but again, where the ratio is very real, we ended up waiting a little longer than I was comfortable with. Real talk, back then I was already kind of over the club scene, you know what I mean? Loud music is not my style anymore, at least when dancing and things like that. So, I was just kind of putting up with it. I don't know how much experience Wayne and Tim have had with that kind of environment, so I just kind of stuck around and wished them the best. But something in me had snapped waiting in line that night in Miami, because I was so tired of having people chosen before our group because they had one or two girls in the party, or if they just happened to exude a little more confidence, or just flat out they were just a little bit better looking than us. And so I don't know if I regret this, and I kind of do, but I really kind of don't. But that night when we were waiting in line for that other club, I just left. I left Wayne and Tim in that line, and I went to go to a casual, more toned down bar, and I just drank by myself and had a really good time, talking it up with the bartender. Whether or not that was supposed to be her job, I much preferred that than whatever was going on in that line in that club at that time. So that's where Tim's side of the story, or Wayne's side of the story, would be a great resource for that night. But like I said, we might have to revisit that idea later. That was my main complaint. The club scene there is just way too superficial. It's too pretty people only. Everyone else just leave, and that's not. It's A, insulting, and B, not a good time. But the Strip, as I was talking about, that's a really good experience. There's restaurants and restaurants for I don't know how long, as far as the eye can see. And when Wayne and Tim and I scoped out Miami one of our nights, we ended up kind of stopping by some of the restaurants that we saw. Even there, people know when you're not around from the area, and they'll give you deals on gigantic margaritas and then charge you double. It's very ridiculous, and you have to really be prepared and stand your ground about the things they say to you about what they'll promise you to do. You'll walk by a lot of these restaurants and you'll have the greeters and things like that. They'll try to lure you in by saying, hey guys, we're having a special deal, buy one margarita, get one free. And looking around, you see people sitting at tables with gigantic ass margaritas, and you're like, great, yeah, that's awesome, let's go in here. So you order the food, and you get your margarita. A, it's watered down, since you're just basically drinking colored water at that point. There's no alcohol. And you have a different waitress, so nobody can back you up when you say to the waitress, yeah, this one person told me they would buy one, get one free margarita. And they're gonna be like, no, nobody told you that. So that's kind of like a little bit of my fault, and a lot of trickery going on in Miami. God damn you! I feel like most of this trip at least most of this day in Miami has just been me falling for tourist traps and having a miserable time. But I don't, honestly, I trade all that because I was just with my best friends, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one who experienced all this crap. So yeah, let's go ahead and end on a good note by recalling the good times I had while I was in Miami. So we did end up going to the beaches there, and it was very nice, very quiet, a little bit windy for my taste, but beaches there is just way nicer than anything you would see in Jersey. So we got ourselves a little tan. On the walk over during one of the beaches, I found a stray cat and I made best friends with him, so that's a highlight right there. Boom. That kind of gives you like a good insight of what kind of vacationer I am. Like, yeah, of course I want to go out, do all the club stuff, but like, come on, I made best friends with a random cat in Miami. Like, can't beat that. Another highlight is when we were walking down the Strip. The way it works is like a lot of the buildings are like connected together, kind of like townhouses, and the first floor is usually like the restaurants with the canopies and the blankets, and on top are kind of residential areas. So while we were walking down, I guess back to our car or whatever, I had looked up into an open window of one of the residents, and they were just, oh my god, there's just a man and a woman just going at it. This guy is railing this chick from behind, and they're having a great time. And yeah, I watched all of it. It was very nice. Good highlight. Best time. best time, another good highlight when we were in Miami was, one of the local kind of, it wasn't a club, but it was a very nice lounge. It was really cool. And then kind of in the middle of drinking, like shots and stuff, we found out it was a burlesque themed bar. And when that realization came to be, it was very exciting and also very weird. And I think Tim had kind of a stalker friend, a stalker male friend, kind of like really wanting to connect with him, if you know what I mean. Actually, it ended up it was funny at first, and I think Tim, I'm not sure if Tim got a couple drinks out of it, probably not, and I might be just imagining that, but it was funny at first, then it just ended up being a little bit creepy, and the whole burlesque theme everywhere is just wasn't really doing any good. But yeah, so besides all the complaining I've done about the club scene in Miami, like I said, Miami is a great city. If I could offer any tips at all, if you're going to go clubbing, please bring a friend girl or your girlfriend, your significant other, and just, I don't know, be confident in yourself. If you're good looking and you know you're good looking, great. If you're kind of like where I am and you struggle on whether or not you're good looking, so your confidence isn't there most of the time, then just be prepared to just kind of take a back seat in the line. But like I said, when I left Wayne and Tim in that line, I believe they were just waiting there for a good amount of time afterward, and whatever, if they wanted to do that, that's cool, that's the way they wanted to do, but like I said, all I wanted to do was drink. So the drive home from Miami was absolutely brutal, because the further you went north, the more snow you started to see and the colder that you got. So that really wasn't a fun experience. But we did end up stopping by Tim's place, and he wanted to get some things on the way home. But also he just took us to this local kind of sports bar that he liked to go to. And I thought that was a really cool experience. I got to see what, Tim's life was like, kind of, at least. The moment I got home in the morning, I literally dropped all my stuff, changed, and went to work. That's how tight it was on time. So I don't know if I'll ever schedule my life like that again, but it's a good experience nonetheless. So that's it. There's Florida, as much as I can remember it. It's been already like 3 years. 2 years-ish. But I'm glad that I got this series over and done with, because I've already taken some vacations afterward, and I need to get those started soon. So that's what's going to be happening on this channel. I think the next one I'm going to try to remember for all of you is my trip to Portland, Maine last year, Memorial Day. And after that will be the trip that we took this year, Memorial Day, over in Houston. So look out for those, maybe some videos in between. Who the hell knows? I will see you and I will see me later whenever I can. Thanks again for being you.